Hey, how you guys doing? iRegoX. Yeah, and this is another episode of Redstone that you need to know. I pretty much covered almost all the questions yesterday. I've been actually getting a lot of questions recently about how do you modify my multiple floor elevator and stuff, and how do you get it to have an auto reset. I'm going to tell you that I have way better elevators, but they're so complicated that the most I could do is a world download. Which, to be honest, I've had real bad problems with that, so I'm not going to be doing any world downloads. But in this episode of Redstone, you need to know this is obviously going to work for the 360. It's pretty much work for every system except for Pocket Edition, which, if you guys don't know, Pocket Edition does not have. It doesn't have Redstone. I mean, it has Redstone, but it doesn't have pistons. For instance, minecart power rails are automatically powered. That's why it gets updated more often than the Xbox One, PS4 stuff. But anyway, we're going to be looking at monostables and what they're good for. And one-tick pulse generators are very important for block adders and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you my favorite. Now, there's obviously better ones out there, but this one's my favorite, and the reason why is that it has one input and it has 3 outputs, meaning I can output this signal from here in all directions, which gives me the ability to run multiple pulses at the same exact time, and it's very reliable, and it creates a one-tick pulse. So for those of you that don't know what a one-tick pulse is, it's basically where you can turn a sticky piston into a kind of like a T flip-flop. So let's just look at it. I hit the button, and you'll see that it actually toggles the sticky piston block off of here. So when that happens, I can use it to have power on or off. So I can use this like a T flip-flop, or I can use it for other things. For instance, like block adders and stuff like that. So this is just a regular one-tick monostable. This particular one is really good because you can make it a falling edge. So by having it always powered, now it's a falling edge. So what a falling edge monostable is it basically means that it has to be given power. Let me use a lever so I can show you. So if I didn't want to get my monostable, if I didn't want it to pulse until after the fact, so I give it power, right? I turn my device on, and then when I turn it off, that's when it will give it to me. So I'm going to go ahead and show you like an example of how that's good. So I'm just going to make actually it's supposed to be this way. I'm going to make a double piston extender horizontal. And this one has worked, for a long time. It's quite big, but it's very dependable, and I've been able to use it for quite a long time. So, yeah. It's a flush double piston extender. So, you'll see here that this gives me a full extension. And then there's no retraction. So, in order to grab this last block, we need a falling edge on here. So, one of the things you can do is basically put a repeater powering a piston all the time, and then have that powering into and then we will need to basically invert that signal. And this is how you could use a falling edge monostable. So if you can imagine, this is going to be ground level here. So now when I do the extension, it's going to shut off the monostable, and then when I give it power again, it will retract the block. So that's where a falling edge comes in handy. You need it for to convert signals. For instance, this one, it prevents this from always being powered, which would cause it to always be like this. So, which kind of brings me to, there's some differences between vertical, meaning pointing up, and down. So if you wanted to create the same thing and you wanted to extend it outward like this, you don't need all that stuff. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I mean. So this is a CMB double piston extender, and you'll see here, because it's actually flat, it gives me a full extension and the retraction without having to have the falling edge. Now I could still use a falling edge, but there's no point. If I tried to do that with a vertical styled one, it wouldn't work. It basically powers this block too long, and it will never retract the block. So in this case, this is probably the best you can get. As you can see, you mess with the timings just a little bit. There we go. It's probably as quick as you can make it. Let's go ahead and try it like this. There we go, a little faster. Let's go ahead and remove that. Yeah. So it needs one more tick. There you go. So pretty simple thing. So now there's a thing called a dual edge monostable, which I actually really like them because not too many people use them. So we've just looked at normal monostables, falling edge, and how you could use falling edges. And now we're going to look at a dual edge. Dual edge means that it gives two monostable pulses on the on and off position. This is one of my most favorite as far as dual edges. Yeah, I'm going to build a device here in a second that's pretty cool. So let me actually put a see here if we want this to power. Yeah, okay. So if I put this here, you'll see how it becomes a a dual edge monostable. I give it power, and it gives me a monostable on the on and off position. What would that be good for? I'm going to go ahead and show you. It's good for to make, like for instance, a block adder, a horizontal block adder, extend quicker. So let's go ahead and just make one. I'm going to need a dropper, and we are going to need a hopper. So I'm going to go ahead and use a different color material. I think I'm going to use some birch so that we can see it a lot better. So this is actually a block adder that I've been using for a long time, and it's one of my favorites, and it uses the dual edge. As you can see here, I'm building the dual edge right here. And because of the 1.8, if you were on the Xbox, you do not have to add a tick onto this. So I'm going to do it for the Xbox, and also I'll go ahead and do it for the Xbox first. So we have our dual edge coming up like this, and then it's going to need to power. Let me go ahead and add the timings on this. So we got timings here, we got redstone, and then we're going to need a block here with a torch powering this redstone that's powering a block, and then a repeater on, I believe it's 4 ticks. I may have to change that. And see here, I believe that supposed to be like that. I could be incorrect though. Let me actually double check this, just make sure. Been a while since I made this. So this is the block adder design here. What this does is it gives a 1 tick pulse to this. So I do believe that this is actually incorrect. I know that this is right, but there's something up with this repeater. The pistons are in the right place. I believe, you know what I believe? I think I'm supposed to have a torch, then a repeater, and then a block. Yeah, and that's correct. And then we need to have it like this. The dual edge is going to give us an extension, a faster extension. And so on the Xbox, you'd only need 3 ticks and 1 tick here. We'll go ahead and give it a little test first. So these pistons are actually in the wrong place. So it is supposed to be down here, like that. It's supposed to be flush, like this would be the top. So now when I input this, what it's going to do is it's going to give me a 1 tick pulse to send this block up, and then the dual edge kicks in and causes it to pop the bottom up really fast. And then so when I retract it, it gives me a quicker block adder, and it gives me a faster retraction. As you can see, it did not retract this, which means we need to put this on 4 tick on the PC. And you can see that it just broke it because of the timing differences. Let's go ahead and just fix it real quick. So that didn't work either. So let's go ahead and just add a tick here and go ahead and replace that. Yeah, so on the 1.8, from what I remember, this does not actually work anymore. Just the way the timings are and everything, it doesn't work. So let's go ahead and change it to the, this would work on the 360. Just going to let you guys know that. I believe that it's supposed to be 3 ticks here and 4 ticks there, 4 there. That actually should be correct. Let's just give it a check before I go ahead and yeah, there we go. So it does work. There's only one problem if you were to try and make a 3x3 door with this. When the redstone travels here, it will actually cause this to not work in certain locations. So it's only good for a single block adder. If you want it to actually work really good, basically we want to change this out with a hopper pulse shortener. Grab ourselves a comparator. The cool thing about this is it actually does take 4 ticks of delay, so there's no timings in on it, and it makes it pretty simple. On the PC you may have to put it on subtract or not. It just depends on the direction it's facing. It's very weird. And then of course we're going to need a 2 tick here, 4 here, and then we're going to need a repeater here on 4 ticks, and then we'll need our item in here. So by putting an item in here, you'll see that this actually isn't as quick retracting the block. Let me go ahead and try this again. See, I think it has to be on subtraction mode, I believe. Alright, so we got 2 ticks here, 4 there, 4 there. Let me see here, why is this not working? I think that maybe, let me see something here. It's not getting the signal. That is very odd. Take it off subtraction mode. Oh, this is supposed to be on 1 tick. Sorry about that, you guys. Been a while since I made one of these. So yeah, as you can see, this becomes a lot more reliable, so I can kind of, you know, do some crazy stuff. Now obviously that broke it. But if we were to have it do a sudden on and off, why did that not grab the block back? Try it again. Yeah, weird. I've noticed that there's been a lot of bugs popping up since they haven't updated it to the 1.8.1. But anyway, that's how you can use the dual edge, falling edge, and just normal monostables. Without them, you could not actually do what you see here. When I do the 1 tick in here, it basically causes this block to hop up like that. And then this piston really quickly after gets added in, and then this, it gets extended up, leaving you with that. And so if you don't have that, it won't actually, you can only do that with 1 tick pulses. That's how you actually get it to add it. So this would all be like floor level, so this would be a good way to have a little hidden entryway on your base. But anyway, that is all the time I have as far as monostables. On the next episode, we're going to be looking at how you can use pulse extenders. So if you wanted to actually, say for instance, I wanted to not use a T flip-flop, and I wanted to, so in my first episode we covered how buttons that are stone are 10 ticks, buttons that are wood are 15 ticks, but what if you wanted it to be 32? So I am going to do the Xbox version and then the PC version and show you that in a practical application, for instance like a hidden staircase too wide or something like that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Comment, like, and subscribe, and have a good one. Later.